How's it going, Kevin?
Hi, Ryan. Good, good. So if I'm in the wrong meeting, I'm in the same meeting as you, Ryan, so that's good.
Yeah, this is the one I see on my calendar, so hopefully we're at least both wrong together.
Google has become so unreliable. I'm having to go through all my emails to figure out what the Meet links are.
Sure. Well, it looks like other people are jumping in, so we got the right meeting.
Good. Well, at least we got the one that everyone is agreeing to from a consensus perspective.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Leandros. How's it going? You
going pretty well. Can't complain. How's everyone?
Doing good. Busy as always.
So I'm going to have to drop out after 30 minutes. So we will need someone to chair the second half of the meeting, or if they prefer, the whole of the meeting. So since you're here, Ryan, Martin, or Leandros, would one of you volunteer to chair at least the second part of the meeting?
But only if they do it in their own native language. So if it's Leandros, it will be Greek. So yeah, it will be done quick.
Well, that will be interesting for the benefit of us, the rest of us.
Yep.
Yeah, apologies for this. There's an awful lot going on, and I need to go and help present the Cardano maintenance proposal to Cardano Coffee.
Finally got done reading all 92 proposals. Now I got to go vote on all 92 of them.
Right. Yeah.
It is extremely busy right now if you're, I guess, a DRIP or CC member. So.
And there's a lot to read in some of the proposals too. Hi, Alex. I seem to have lost Martin. He was here. No. So looking for volunteers to chair for the second half, Alex.
Bosco's doing a good job chairing for sure.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh,
That's against the rules.
That's all.
Yeah,
I don't like rules, but that's against the rules.
So formally, Bosco is the secretary. He's not.
I can at least make sure that we are following the agenda that you have defined, but I cannot decide nor I can do anything else beyond that. That's it.
Okay.
I'm multitasking, but I can talk about some of the stuff that I'm knowledgeable of.
Great. So you might need to self-chair if nobody's willing to chair.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to be a problem. We manage with self-sharing, multi-chairing.
Multi-chairing. This is what I like to see. Decentralized chairing. Fantastic. Delegated chairing. And Leandros, I see you're standing as a Constitution Committee member. Is that right?
Yes, I'm putting my feet where my mouth is. I'm going to try to streamline it without putting too much effort into it. Hopefully within the limited time I have to try and help.
So 92 proposals. You're coming in at the right time because those 92 proposals will have been dealt with, and you'll be relatively quiet if you're elected.
Yes. The plan is to basically be an opt to abstain unless I see something that's egregiously against the tenets or the clause of the Constitution.
Do you know optimistic constitutionality, SIP 182?
Yeah, I've seen it. I haven't read it. It's the idea of having the CC members not voting count as a yes vote.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense to me.
There is a soft version to implementing that on the ledger, which would be delegating your CC hotkey to a script that auto votes to yes. So you as a CC could directly in your application say, look, I'm an auto DRIP, but I intervene passively. You could
that seems like a more more reliable way to do it than, well, not necessarily reliable, but a more secure way to do it than switching it in the ledger itself to be default yes.
Yeah.
Just have a script, just auto vote yes.
This is very.
Yeah, you'd have to
Much
have
less
some
risky.
sort of indexer to actually cast the votes, but that's a nice idea. If you could send me a link, I'd love to take a look.
Yes, it's SIP 182, but there is no implementation yet of such a. Just so you know. I'll send it right away.
Great. So shall we get the meeting kicked off? So this is the Technical Steering Committee meeting of the 20th of May 2026. We have 6 voting members present, so we will quorum if any decisions need to be made. I have pasted the agenda, the proposed agenda, into the chat. I'll just make sure that's pinned so that anyone can see that. As usual, if you have any items to add to the agenda, please do that now, or we can cover it under any other business. And I will be dropping out at 30 minutes past the hour because I will need to go and discuss the Cardano maintenance proposal, which I'm sure we all would want to support. It's an incredibly important part of the ecosystem. So apologies for dropping out. I wouldn't do it unless it was necessary. So shall we kick off the meeting as usual? Bosco, items arising from the last meeting.
Sure. Sure, just give me a sec. I have them ready here as well, so it's more readable. Okay, on you, Kevin, contact Fergie Miller from IOR and other cryptographers regarding a post-quantum risk presentation. And I think you did, but you might want to share more details.
Yeah, so I've had a positive response from Hans Jujelek, if I've pronounced his name correctly. I probably haven't, so apologies to Hans if not. He is willing to participate in the session. What I would propose, so he's based in Japan, he's given us some time zones that work out. What I propose to do would be to run this in about 3 to 4 weeks, and that's partly because I'm not going to be available for 3 to 4 weeks, partly because there's a lot of other things going on with governance as well. And we then run that as the first of the technical workshops that we're proposing to do as part of the 2026 budget process. No response back yet from Fergie Miller, but hopefully IOR will also be interested in participating. Be great to hear their perspective.
Yes.
And Alonso, you reached out as well to someone who might participate in that.
Yeah, I know, but I tend to.
What was that? Who did I reach out to?
There was someone you mentioned last week who was working on post-quantum cryptography, Alonso.
I don't think that was me who mentioned I mentioned the NIST quantum standards, but I don't think I
It was
name
Christian.
dropped.
In Slack, it was Christian Taylor who
It's
suggested.
Christian Taylor, yes, Christian isn't here. But we can follow up with Christian on that.
What about Hamza?
So Hamza, I've pasted into the Slack chat, Alex. So he's very interested in participating, so he would be keen to participate in the workshop. But we might want to have 1 or 2 more people participating as well.
So now we're talking about a specific workshop, but not a TSC presentation.
I would probably do it as a specific workshop, Alex, and then we can invite community members to it as well.
Okay.
So that's my proposal. It could also be a TSC session, but we always have a lot of business to get through. So we'd have if it's a TSC session, it would be probably 20 to 30 minutes. We could do that. If it's a workshop, we could run it for an hour. So there's a choice to make.
Given, yeah, sounds good. Agreed.
So we can take that offline to decide what the format is. And I was saying probably 3 to 4 weeks would be my preference given my availability. Great. Next action is on you, Bosco.
Correct. According to the consent to draft and amplify a TSC branded tweet regarding protocol parameter changes. Can you remind me, Kevin, is this about the Bluetooth cost model?
I believe it's about the Plutus cost model. So I think
Okay.
have we done that, Oscar?
I'm looking at the tweet. Should be this tweet, but it's not TSC branded. It was in the comms plan. I will share it here. So if
Okay.
it's not that, then we can adapt. I'm not sure whether this is that, but this was the latest one, I think.
Well, we can come back to that when we discuss the protocol parameters.
Sure.
And
Are we posting about the CC min size too?
I would propose to do that, Alex. I think we need to get some comms out about that.
I will. What?
But do you, Bosco, have that on your radar too? That was the implication.
Yeah, for the comms, I'm looking at the comms plan. I don't see it. However, I know it's planned for the next week, if I'm not mistaken. And also, there needs to be a comms around it. And I also wanted to raise that when it's due time to ask for a review of the metadata that Ryan prepared, Ryan Williams. So yes, it needs to be on the comms plan. It seems that it's not listed there, and it should be. I don't have anything else to add there. Okay, for Terence, it was to ensure Alonso and other new members are correctly added to the private TSC Slack channel. So Alonso, you have access to Slack channel, right?
I'm sending an email about that literally as we speak.
Okay.
I need it to go from a different email, so I'm sending that email
Okay.
over to Terence and Bosco.
Okay, please do. We will settle. Okay. All members to familiarize themselves with the TSC budget proposals and CPS documents. It's kind of a vague action item. It's just a matter of whether we are able to have a meaningful discussion around it, but it's on the agenda.
Yeah, so so the first time is going to get quite real because we're going to be entering into various spaces where we will be discussing the proposals with community members. So we'll be looking for support for the TSC proposals. If there are any items which you are uncomfortable with, we have 2 days to make any changes, after which we will be presenting things as fixed. So this particularly goes for the new members. Have a look and make sure you're comfortable with what we're proposing. And CPS 27 and 30, these are the CPSs that relate to post-quantum crypto. I think it's important if we're going to have a discussion about post-quantum crypto. We're familiar with that. I've got them on my own to-do list. I've not managed to read them thoroughly yet. I've only skimmed them so far, but I will definitely do that.
30 is a bit better than 27. But
Sorry?
both are good.
30 is more.
30 is a bit better than 27, but they're both good.
30 is a bigger number, Alex. It must be better.
Okay, last one is Elaine and Ryan to synchronize on the plus cost model submission, but we will cover that timeline aspect of it in the call later, right? We have a dedicated item. So I can switch back to this and let's go from there. So next thing is TSC proposal. You're the chair, Kevin, come on.
Yes. So we had some feedback from a community member which I passed on in the Slack channel. Let me just yeah, I'll just copy that and paste it. So the feedback seemed reasonable to me, but if we're going to do it, we need to make any changes. So someone saying they conditionally support the proposal they need a credible technical governance there. I think we'll agree with that. And they're in favour of funding the mechanisms we've proposed. But they're focusing on transparency and clear conflict of interest rules, reviewer selection criteria, public technical reports, and accountability reporting should be required. So I can double check the proposal, but I would be very happy with making that explicit in the proposal and replying to the questionnaire. Does anyone have any issues with that? No. Now is your chance to say if you feel this is inappropriate. Okay, so I will take that as an action. Boss and I will double check the proposal. We've got maybe a day or two to revise it, and we will make sure we circulate the final version for you to see before it's finalised on Ecclesia. I think the deadline is probably 12 noon on Friday, Bossy, to make changes. So action on us to do that.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm writing down on paper as well to give it more importance than just filing it in Slack as a to-do item. So yeah, we will have it done.
Yeah, but it's great to have the feedback, and I think it's also good that the community wants transparency. So I think responding to that and showing that we're willing to be transparent as part of the governance process is very important. Great. Next item arose from discussion on from the Intersect Steering Committee, and it's about providing feedback on the Ecclesia proposals. So the 92 proposals that Ryan has been wading through, and so the question from an ISC member is: could the TSC provide feedback on proposals to help guide the DREPs? And obviously that's a tremendous task with 92 proposals, but I'm happy to present it to this group. We've had the discussion before the new members were elected. Some of the outgoing members were not keen on doing that, is my memory, so we had not reached a conclusion on that. If we were going to provide advice, it would need to be impartial and technical, and given the timescale, we'd have to keep it fairly focused. I would say it's going to be difficult to, we're not going to reach a consistent opinion on 92 proposals. We wouldn't expect to as the TSC. But what we might do is to pick some of the proposals and to provide some focused technical feedback on those particular proposals, taking into account any conflicts of interest that we might have. So happy to take a steer on that. If we're going to do this, be aware there's a work commitment. We would have to do this quite efficiently to be useful. Who would be in favour in principle of doing that? Give me a raise your hand if you'd be in favour. So I'm seeing Alonso. Okay, so Ryan, are you in favour?
I'm on the fence about it. So a lot of my critiques about the proposals are not necessarily technical in nature. Like there are some difficult ones to parse through, like the zero knowledge ones come to mind that are very difficult to understand what they're trying to propose. That could definitely use some technical feedback. But from a proposer perspective, I feel like a lot of that onus is on the proposer to explain what their proposal offers. Right. So I think proposers should be able to explain, this is what you're going to get out of this proposal, regardless of what the technical mechanisms underneath it are. You should be able to explain it to your grandma. Oh, this zero knowledge proposal unlocks privacy from this use case or whatever. There needs to be some level of making the pitch at the proposer level. Not to say that our expertise, technical expertise wouldn't be valuable in any of them. I think it would. I think it's just there's a lot of different variables to come at it from.
So given the time constraints and volume, it could only be fairly shallow. It would be some sort of TSC endorsement. This seems to meet what the criteria the TSC would expect. good.
I guess to frame it better, it's potentially a rabbit hole that would be a lot of work for us. That is not necessarily a huge ROI on that work.
Right. Okay. That was why I was posing it to the group for discussion. Alex, what's your opinion?
I still have my hand raised from before.
You still have your hand raised from before. So for next year, we've put in a proposal to form a review body, and what we would expect is to have a much larger group of people that we could draw on. And what we're proposing would be to pay people to do the review. So we'd expect that to be a reasonable recompense for the effort put in. And if we're doing that, what I would expect is, detail and a number of detailed technical reviews for a relevant subset of the proposals. We were estimating 35. I haven't done an analysis of the proposals that have been submitted to see how that plans out. What we could do this time would be much less substantive, because what I was imagining is that a single review of a single technical review of a proposal could take several hours of work. So it could take a morning or afternoon of work to do, to provide enough technical content. So we clearly couldn't do that even for 35 proposals, given the number of people we are. But what we might be able to do is to give some useful guidance or endorsement for some of the proposals. Okay, let's take them on offline. I'm getting a tentative yes, but beware of the amount of work and the potentially low value for not doing it properly. Again, I will try to move that forward in the next day or two, because if you don't do it quickly, it's not going to be much use. Related to that, which is possibly helpful for GRAPs, is a set of TSC criteria to guide the evaluation of the Ecclesia proposals. Again, conscious this is quite a lot of work. I used an AI friend to help write it. I'm reasonably comfortable with at least the first part of the result. So what I've done is structure this as a general set of criteria to help guide GRAPs towards selecting proposals. I don't think there's anything too controversial in there. So if you open the proposal box, click on the link in the chat, or I can share it.
But which link in the chat? I'm looking at. Oh, at the beginning somewhere.
You found it. I will.
Okay.
No, I will copy it into the chat for you.
You want me to copy this into the, I conditionally support this proposal, that?
No, just could you share that link?
Yeah, I can. I wasn't aware of what you're asking.
If you have
This thing, and you want me to open it, right?
yes, please. If you can't, I can do that.
I probably can.
Right. Okay. Great. So I put this together pretty quickly this morning. It's basically setting out a TSC position, and this is giving some structured guidance to GRAPs about how proposals should be evaluated. And if you scroll down, what it's saying explicitly is we're not recommending on individual proposals, and final governance decisions rest entirely with GRAPs and the community. 6 things to evaluate. Is this a genuine public good? With what good looks like? What would be red flags? So obviously, if the Treasury is funding proposals, you can't expect the funds to be spent on commercial work. Can the team actually deliver? Could you scroll down, Bosco? I'll take your comment in a second, but I'm going to have to leave very shortly. Again, what good looks like. So this is to evaluate the track record of the team. Scroll down. Are the milestones meaningful? This might be where DREPs would have the greatest difficulty, because it's quite hard sometimes to work out whether a milestone is achievable or not unless you have significant technical expertise and perhaps can ask the team. But that's an important criterion. At least the milestones ought to look plausible. Transparency and reasonableness of cost. If you're asking for public funds, you ought to be clear about how you're going to spend them. Does it fit the technical roadmap? Hopefully all of the Ecclesia ones, they've at least attempted to explain how they fit. Then the question is, for the DREPs, have they actually made the fit, or is it just a specious argument? So is it a genuine match, or is it artificial? And for security sensitive work, are the risks addressed? So have they dealt with, do they have independent security review, for example? If there are security risks, how are they being addressed within the proposal? Okay, so seemed to me to be fairly sensible. Maybe there are more criteria, but six is probably enough. And then this is just a quick reference checklist to summarize the points. And what I've then done, so there's no conflict on interest in the TSC limits. So basically saying that we might be involved in some proposals, so we would have a conflict of interest there, and we would make that clear. And also that what we're doing is to provide advice here, but not to make specific recommendations to the DREPs, which is in line with our remit. Okay, and then what I've done also is I figured if for those who were diving in more depth, that might not be enough detail. And what might be helpful for those who did want to dive into detail is some review by proposal type, so to look at the criteria per proposal type. But I wouldn't necessarily expect all DREPs to be able to follow those guidelines. So what would be great would be if everyone here could read through them, and we can take an in principle vote now whether producing guidelines like this is a sensible idea. So do you think we should do that? So if in principle you think we should do that, could you raise your hand, please?
Didn't catch the last part.
So I'm asking for an in principle decision. Should we provide such guidance to the DREPs? To be effective, this needs to be done this week, preferably, before they start to work through the finalized proposals.
Then what does provide mean?
So circulate publicly, for example, via the Intersect X account or via Intersect communication channels.
Why don't, if you're speaking about adding this document somewhere or making it public and official, we can add it under the TSC committee and then share that link.
Absolutely, that's the way to do it.
So it's not actually the way if I'm able to express my opinion as a secretary, so, or as a community member, it wouldn't be beneficial only for this cycle, because it will be beneficial for everything TSC does in the future. So in the following months, so it's not necessarily tied only to this set of budget proposal. But if it's a guidance, then it applies to everything even later.
Okay, I'm going to have to drop off, since I have to go to this other call. I will record my vote in favour, in principle, of distributing this, but and what we would need to do is we would need to go through the actual criteria to make sure we were comfortable with those. So
Yeah, I like the idea of it. You know, I like how the document's organized with like the green flags, the red flags. So I actually think it's a pretty quick read and a pretty easy thing. I would just scan it to make sure that like the best proposal, if we have like a gold star example proposal, that our criteria actually matches and like checks all the boxes. I could see some people on Twitter being like, oh, the IOG proposal doesn't even satisfy the TSC zone guidance, and like you're voting for it, fucking idiots. And I would like to avoid that. But I vote in principle.
okay, I mean, there's always a risk when you're setting criteria, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to do. Okay, I will drop out now. I will leave you in the capable hands of yourselves. And
Famous last words. Thank you, Kevin.
thanks, bye.
So who's the most
Okay.
responsible of us now that Kevin's gone? 'Cause it's not
Marcin,
me.
Marcin has a hand raised. He quickly lowered it. Okay, hard fork, guys. I mean, like, it would be on me anyway, or Ryan. Either way, I was having a meeting yesterday, so I can actually share.
Yesterday.
Sorry.
I said I also wasn't there yesterday. I think I missed the last two hard fork working group meetings.
Yeah, no worries. Essentially, I'm going to right now. It's easier for me to do this than to repeat it all the way through. It's easier for me to have a walkthrough of what's going on. I gave it the link and I'm going to share it right now. So this is actually the summary of it. Ogmios and Kupo readiness continues to be the biggest challenge. It was decided that Ogmios should be added to the critical tooling list right now and in the future. Any comms that goes out mentioning that Ogmios isn't ready yet, that it's also needs to emphasize that it's a private project from Matthias. Main issue from the Ogmios team perspective is that the impact is big due to the fact that the node version 11.2.1, which is meant for Van Rossum, also contains some feature for the future hard fork era Dijkstrom. Then also there were some additional effort, willingness and volunteering from John Lotowski and Eric De Castro from IO, trying to draft those PRs and get a review from Matthias, but time availability is like the real issue here. So they did a lot. The changes are massive, and Matthias is doing the review. What has also happened yesterday after that call is that on the release meeting with the IO team, I cannot actually remember the name of the guy, but somebody else volunteered to jump in and try to address that PR and to make sure it's raised. The reason why I'm saying all of this is that the original plan to submit mainnet governance action for hard fork initiation is 29th of May, which is next Friday. If we don't, as a hard fork working group, recommend forking pre-prod before that, and the last cutoff date for that is actually tomorrow on the pre-prod epoch boundary, we would then be in a position to only recommend it on 26th, for example. First next possible date for ratification would be 26th, and then enactment on pre-prod would be, I don't know, May, 5 days, so it would be 31st, 31st of May. So it would be after the mainnet is supposed to have the governance action submitted, which would be very ill advised. So the simple criteria to have a recommendation for the pre-prod to be forked is whether we have Ogmios PR ready and not in draft. That's the simple criteria. And if it doesn't happen by tomorrow, then we can confidently say we are going to delay hard fork for at least one epoch, possibly more. It really depends on the readiness of the PR. That's, I think, the long story short of everything that was written here. But what is written here is actually, it has more details. I think latest on how many SPOs, as reported by Pool2, how many of them upgraded to 11.2.1 is currently at 33%. Could be better, could be worse, I don't know, but it's relatively okay. It progressed more than 10% or something in the last 5 days or something like that. So it is something, it is happening, but still there are some issues that are happening from time to time. And
What does
I
that
also,
mean? What does that mean? Progress 10%? 10% of what?
like if you go to the pool tool, you are aware of the pool tool, right? Pool tool IO.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
If you
I
go to
have a
the,
SPO, I have to be.
okay, so network health, if you go to the nodes reporting version, you can see that the majority
Oh.
of them are now at 11.0.5.
Got you. Sorry. Thanks for catching me up.
No, all good. And since Kevin is not here, I also wanted to ask what happened with DB-Sync, because there was some issue being raised by Alex. If you know Alex, that's the latest from today. I don't know whether it was resolved or not. DB-Sync missing 631 as an epoch or something like that.
Yes.
Is that this Alex or another Alex?
Me.
This Alex.
Okay.
DB-Sync does not currently track the whole epoch 631, which is quite curious. Depending on the version, I actually haven't tried another version, but with the most recent one, you can reproduce that. I don't know the reason yet, but the whole or large DB-Sync team and Mikhail, our integrations lead, and Vlad were working on this up until, like, I don't know, maybe they're still working on it. Quick Fix is a script that does something.
Is that script
I don't know.
available somewhere? Or it's ready to be publicly shared or not yet?
I don't have the script. I'm just on the side being a bird.
Okay.
It's a difficult question whether it's only written on the sex or, you know, whether
But
it's how
the latest information that I have
Okay.
is that the script exists.
Then
Then you just need to figure out some last things. It is not as big of an issue as it may seem.
We have also checked on Intersect instance. I mean, I've asked our guys and we have the same problem as you described, Alex, with the 13.7.0.5 version, latest version. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to update on that because it's also important in the platform context. Also, what Kevin pointed out here, like with Pluto's parameter update should be submitted to mainnet according to the last week's vote agreement plan tomorrow. And then 5 days later, CC size reduction. If there are any questions, let me know. I mean, Kevin will still be available async, but this is what was discussed before, and finally, at the end of it, was at
If
least
anybody
submission.
wants to read the
Metadata.
thank you. The metadata rationale for CC min size. Ryan and I-
Do you have it? You have it.
Yeah.
Here. Perhaps you can share the link in the chat. So just in case people want to see it, or it's in Slack. I'm not sure.
I have too many tabs open. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'll find it.
Okay.
Spoke to them in the morning.
I know that Ryan posted that somewhere. Maybe I can quickly find it in a second. Yes, I see. I have the link. I'm pasting it into the chat here.
Gracias.
Okay, that's it. Okay, Marcin, this was a new, and you're sorry, you're I couldn't assign this to you, at least officially it's easier. It's nothing for you,
Sure.
essentially. That much important to be done from the assignment perspective. Just wanted to call out that Marcin, Alonso, and Alex, you still need text is letting me know that Christian, Marcin, and Alex Moser are still pending for ClickUp invitations or whatever it is. So can you check your emails inboxes as well?
Sure.
Okay. Two repositories transfer to Intersect. This is what Kevin pointed out. So up to you to say. I don't know what you're going to say.
It's IOSIM and type protocols. Both are very basic blocks on which Cardano node is built. These two in particular are also very broad libraries. They can be used in various projects. They are not Cardano specific. IOSIM is for testing, type protocols is for specifying network protocols in a type safe manner.
Any questions from anybody? Anything that needs to be added, or this was a short topic? Okay.
Is there anything we need to do for this document on the min committee size? It all looks good to me.
You can, if you have any feedback, just put a comment. Even if you agree with it, you can also put a comment and say, good, great, no objections. At least people would know that you did read it and you agree with it. Okay, I'm moving on. It's weird, I'm not the chair. Okay, this is standing item. This was for Neil. And I don't know, what can we discuss here? Anybody can help, maybe? I don't know, nothing. I think Kevin covered this. Can anybody help,
Yeah.
or we are help, or we can move to the other item?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Okay.
This is where we were trying to find someone, some cryptography IOG person to talk to us about the concerns. Alex shared that file that had a good summary of all the quantum concerns for signatures and whatnot. I thought that was a pretty good write-up. I don't know what next step there is. I think somebody was going to try to find someone. Is that right?
Christian Taylor and Kevin.
Yeah.
But I think now the question transforms to, should we invite that person to the TSC, or should we try to organize a dedicated quantum workshop?
I think
And-
one person was invited for next week. Let me see what's the person.
Hamza, probably. Yeah.
I definitely like the former, just like get him into this meeting. But
Yes.
if y'all are more workshop heavy, we can consider that.
No. This was maybe Montgomery from Linux Foundation. I don't know whether it's about that topic or something else.
Nice.
I
Okay.
would appreciate a workshop at some point. But getting somebody in here to get an overview of what is happening would be quite valuable. And
Okay,
I
so
still don't understand why the market believes that Cardano is super giga ready. And there is news written about how quantum ready Cardano is. It's much better than Ethereum and whatnot. It's crazy.
I mean, it is slightly better, at least from what I was looking at. Like the risk is maybe one notch lower, but we're all in the same high segment, right? I think what's driving it is Charles did this live stream a little while ago where he basically said, hey, no one panic about quantum. We're going to be fine. Worst case scenario, we put everything in midnight and that's quantum safe. Or he had like some off the cuff, this is fine. And I think everyone just took that.
Yeah, legacy Web 2 stuff is just as much trouble.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? Like, if some attackers really do get a quantum machine, like, do you think they're coming to Cardano first? Because the answer is no.
That is the next. That is really so. That one of the most important questions.
they're going
The
straight for Satoshi's
hackers
wallet.
need to get access to that type of compute, and
Yeah,
until
like,
bad actors get to that scale of error safe or error like that type of compute, they are
yeah,
looking elsewhere.
that's the part that like doesn't click for me, because the attackers would need to like infiltrate Google Willow and like commandeer a quantum computer that's bolted into the ground. Like, I just don't see how true attackers can get their hands, on the state of the art, unless it's coming from some government, and some government is knowingly participating in this.
The
But anyway.
current state of art, at least.
That changes
The
every few
problem-
months.
Yeah, that changes every few months. And the most recent state of the art that I've seen is that they have developed stackable boxes that you can scale linearly the same way as you scale a data center. So you can actually transport information from one box to the next box, which is really the scary part. Because
Are you
that's now
talking
just-
Willow? Or are you talking something else? Because I do think they have some linear approach to error reduction, and I think that's why people are most behind the Willow one right now. It's most scalable at the moment, not like the min-max one that's worse.
No, it's not Willow. I'll find it. Give me a second.
Yeah.
But it scales like a data center. Just put a new compute box at the end of the line, and there you go. More compute data.
Love
It's
it.
not like this one rack H100 unit anymore as it used to be.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love to read anything about that.
Okay. Parameter committee. It's for you, Alex, I think, or somebody else. I don't know.
No, I'm fine. Yes, the next perimeter committee meeting is tomorrow. And it's gonna be hopefully a spicy one and an informative one. We are continuing the discussion of K1000 or an increase of K. Whether that's instant 1000 is like, yes, whatever. Still up for discussion. If you, Alonso, want to join, because I see you cheering and you have great data
Yeah, send it.
to support, then
Speaking
please come along.
Speaking of data, I just shared in the chat, I've been putting together a dashboard collating kind of all the useful information I could think of for incentives research that might be relevant. So if you want to take a peek at that, hopefully that's super useful for the debate tomorrow. And then I did have one more thing to ask. Rich Mandarino was requested to see if he can join as an observer, since he's been heavily interested in the K parameter change for a while now. So I was curious to see what you guys think about having him on.
Of course, bring him on.
All right, will do.
Yeah, why not K2000? Let's just jack it up.
Agreed.
Why not?
There's
That's-
there's 3,000 pools right now. Just saying, like, if we just want to set it to how many
Yeah.
pools there are, might as well go.
There
to
are
3,000.
not 3,000 pools.
There's.
There are 3,000 stake pool certificates.
Yeah,
I just think the small changes are kind of brutal, because it takes so much momentum to be built in order to even make a change. So if you make like a tiny adjustment and then we restart the 5-7 year timer of doing it again, I feel like we're kind of not being effective. So I would be personally in favor of just like larger changes. But that's my opinion.
For reference, there are 1,619 pools that are active, making blocks, and not abandoned.
Okay.
So that is the number. And that's on the charts, like the second or third from the bottom chart. If you
Right.
want to look at that.
I love to use the Dune. Good man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wanted to
like-
experiment with it, and it works out well. So I did use a
cool.
couple of custom data sources. The pool grouping is difficult because it's a little bit more of an art than a science, but I use a community collated collection of different sources on that one that's linked. The GitHub's in one of the charts somewhere. Actually, it's in a couple of the charts. And then I also referenced there's an IO report from November that kind of came up with a list of pools that are inactive but not deregistered. It's a bit complicated. They're in a weird spot so that they're not necessarily active and they're not inactive. So they were excluded for being in that bucket.
Okay. CC member nomination. Leandros is standing as a constitutional committee member, but you said something at the beginning. Is Leandros still here?
Yeah, here I am.
Do you want to add anything to that?
No. Like I said, I'm planning on, if needed, to run the CC seat as efficient as possibly. Default will be yes. And if I can help by bridging the two committees, and if you bring up anything the committee here that is worth investigating. But mostly my current concern is only focusing on constitutionality. Quality and explanations and rationales will be skipped entirely.
Any questions to Leandros? Any endorsement for Leandros? Why are you silent? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, upcoming event. This was Kevin drafted the agenda, so I don't know how many of you are aware of that. It's happening in Porto in June. I can actually give a link to the whole agenda there. I'll paste it in the chat. So you can reach out to Damian from Amaru team. There might be some more free accommodation that is covered. So whoever would travel there would have the accommodation covered, and then it would be only to pay for the flight tickets. So, and the nights covered are actually from 1st to 3rd, so 3 nights. Workshop is happening on 2nd and 3rd, but it's 3 nights. It's listed completely listed, detailed on this link. Yeah, I mentioned that.
Where is Porto? What is that?
Portugal.
Oh,
It's kind of cute. It's a city in Portugal. It's the second largest city in Portugal.
got it.
Where are you located, Alonso?
I'm in Denver,
Okay.
Colorado, smack in the middle of the U.S. So it's a bit far, but if I would have known, I love Portugal. That sounds great.
Okay. Just reach out to Damian from Damian Chapel. I think you can reach out to him on Discord, Pragma server. Right. Okay. Anything else of business? Silence is golden. We are all rich, both quantum rich. Everybody's happy. See you around next time. Bye-bye.
See you guys
Cheers.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.